Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Lostfeld here, and we're going to start debunking my best friend. You guys know how much I cherish him. My best friend SpookLuke's latest video on directional arrow. This is the chat. Hello, chat. Hi. Hello, YouTube. Hello, chat. And so this is the video. It's called How to Arrow Left and Right in Rocket League. No BS. It's funny because even when that guy tries to act like it's not a clickbait title, like he always does, he always makes it a clickbait title. Like, what is he going to say after no BS on the next video? No BS squared? No BS times 3? What is he going to say? Anyway, if you are new to Rocket League, you don't know who I am, and you don't know who this guy is, let me tell you, this guy is, in the real world, we call that a scammer. But here on YouTube, we call that a content creator. Okay? SpookLuke has famously been known for making bad tutorials for a long time. He's also been into dramas regarding his coaching, where he apparently scammed people, made them pay a lot of money for no reason. And yeah, I just don't like the guy. I think he's shit. I've always said it, and I keep saying that. So maybe he'll make me, he'll prove me wrong in this video. But already I'm gonna tell you that I highly doubt that. So yeah, today we're just gonna watch until like the end of this chapter, 3 starting positions. So we're gonna watch the intro. What is directional arrow? 8 corners method. People are too loose with the word method. A method is not just you explaining something. It's a logical, systematic way of researching something. And then the 3 starting positions. I don't know what that means, but yeah. So he's been famous for, like, I think his most viewed videos are regarding directional arrow, because directional arrow is probably one, if not the most researched mechanic / technique on Rocket League. Okay, and all of his videos are shit about directional arrow. I think he knows it, and so now he's taken the time to make a long video about how to arrow left and right in Rocket League. No BS. So this is going to be without bullshit. So I'm hoping that we're going to see some interesting things. Like, I'm really hoping that he's going to say correct things. But I'm guessing, if anything, that if he's correct about something, he probably saw it in my video, although that sounds a bit, presumptuous of me. But again, I mean, is it vain of me to say that I've said things that have never been said before? I don't know. You tell me. And I'm pretty sure he's also going to say some bad things. Someone said, who said that in the chat, guys? Who said that he said that he would make another video in June? To this, I would add, so we're not there, and we're not going to get there yet, but why would you make another video in June if this is already supposed to be how to arrow left and right in Rocket League? Like, I don't like those people who make tutorials, like Reflicious, for instance. They make tutorials, and at the end of their video, like at the very end of their video, they say, well, I'm not sure about what I said, so I'll probably make another video. I don't know. Maybe I'll just get better at it and then make another video. Like, why would you make a tutorial if you're not good enough already and if you don't know what you're doing? I don't understand. Are you just blatantly telling us that you just wasted our time? I don't know. So we're going to go through that. Let me just check if the sound is correct for you guys. Let's go here.
Yeah. I'm making a change to that. So whatever you've heard in that video, forget about it. I'm expanding on the definitions.
Expanding on the definitions, yeah. You're just saying that you just said some random bullshit, I'm pretty sure, but okay. So, is the sound good for you,
Directional arrow is one of the most misunderstood
I think it should be good
in all of Rocket League. People will say things like, it's just a feel thing, or
is the sound good for you? There's a lot of delay on YouTube, so I'm hoping yes. But in any case. Okay, let's start. Hopefully he says some actually correct things, but I've lost like everyone who's known Rocket League for a long time and who's known content creators for a long time. We have all lost hope for SpookLuke. The only people who really like him are new players who don't know who he is, or sheep that have followed him for a long time, thinking, "Hey, I love him for no reason, but I'm gonna say that I love him."
Directional air roll is one of the most misunderstood mechanics in all of Rocket League. People will say
true, but you can also say that about Rocket League in general.
Things like, it's just a feel thing, or just grind rings and figure it out. That's BS advice from people who don't know how to teach. Here's the truth.
Oh shit, you don't see the video. My bad. Did you hear what he just said, dude? Did you hear what he just said? He said people who don't know. He said that's some BS said by people who don't know how to teach. SpookLuke said there's some people who don't know how to teach. Okay, you can see it now, right? I think you can see it now. Yes, you can. Okay, good.
Figure it out. That's BS advice from people who don't know how to teach. Here's the truth. Directional.
I'm sorry. If you don't know who this guy is, if you're new to Rocket League, I'm laughing because this is the peak of irony is him saying that there's some people who don't know how to teach. But okay. So, okay, already the word truth. He loves that word, truth.
Directional air roll is not just a feel thing. It's actually a predictable mechanic that you can learn just like any other mechanic once you understand the fundamentals. That's why today...
Well, first of all, you can learn it without understanding the fundamentals by just doing things empirically. I think it's a bad idea to learn things empirically in life. I think it's better to actually research a bit of theory, right? The irony is crazy. Yes, it is.
Today, I'm sharing an uncut live event from my members-only Discord community.
So all of those people are idiots.
Sharing
basically.
An uncut live event from my members-only.
Yeah, those people. Look at them. Those people. They're sheep who wasted their money. They have no critical thinking, and I'm saying they're stupid, but I actually feel bad for them.
Discord community, where last Monday I taught everyone arrow left and arrow right in a way that nobody else has explained before. By the end of this video...
Yeah, so anybody can say that, and as long as people don't understand what they're talking about, they will always make different interpretations about the mechanic. But when you come down to it, you can put it in very good boxes because you've researched deep enough. Do you know what I mean? That's why people, again, I'm going to call him out again, but people like Reflicious, in every one of his arrow videos, he says it differently because he doesn't understand how it works deeply, in depth. So, of course, when you don't know something, when I researched arrow by myself, at first, my first interpretation of arrow was it's like playing Spider-Man while being a tornado. That was my first interpretation. That doesn't mean that I made a video out of it. If we had to make videos about every single step that we take while understanding something, there would be countless tutorials. And this is actually what happens. There's countless tutorials. So don't do that.
You'll understand how directional air roll...
SpookLuke is the type to watch a Lostfell video to get good and say Lostfell can teach.
actually works, and what you can do to learn and practice air roll without wasting hundreds of hours just figuring it out in rings.
Yeah, so why have you made already 4 fucking different tutorials while saying the exact same thing in every video? Can't you, if you called them out, can't you call yourself out? Jesus Christ.
Here, I'm Luke. I'm the #1 Rocket League teacher on YouTube.
Yeah. Why is he the #1? Because he got lucky, because he's got the content creator vibe, and he's got clickbait titles with good thumbnails. Basically, he's just good at being a content creator. That doesn't mean his content is good. Okay, please understand that. That you need to have critical thinking.
Me and my team of pros have now worked with almost 4,000 players at my coaching company, the Grand Champ Bootcamp.
Yeah, how much is that again? How much is it?
.com. Where the number.
Do you think he's the type that's so full of himself that he really believes that he is a good teacher, or is he self-aware of the fact that he is a dog shit teacher in person? I think there's both of it. I think he knows he's not good and people don't like him, but he pretends like he's higher than that. You know what I mean? And so he actually thinks that maybe he's pretty decent. Dude, I used to play with SSLs. I mean, I'm not an SSL, but I used to be on the Discord, and there were many SSLs and GCs, and they were all trash talking him, like all of them. That was before I knew a lot about him. We're waiting for the moment when he flies through one of the rings with the Lost Fell logo on it, right as he starts talking about useless coaches. Autoproclamé number one. Having subs doesn't mean being number one teacher. Yeah, that's true.
Number one members only Discord community for ranking up.
Okay, that's already, I mean, I understand you have to do your job, but isn't that the third time in like 30 seconds you've referenced your coaching shit?
Rocket League. Get it? Because I'm the YouTube coach guy. I made a community to help people rank up. It should make sense. Now, this video here is pretty much a sneak peek of what will be one of my craziest videos ever. It's going to be about air roll, and I'm dropping it in just a few weeks. I wanted to present the method to players in the private.
So what am I watching then? I'm just watching a sneak peek of another video that you're going to... I don't understand. Then why do you call it how to air roll left and right in Rocket League? No BS. Can't you call it a preview of the biggest video of air roll you've ever done? Do you understand what I mean? Like, why am I wasting my time? It's 1 minute 20. He's already making me understand that this basically is not interesting. I will have the full thing in a few weeks. I don't understand.
Private community first to see if they liked it, and based on the results, people were going crazy for it.
Well, they're in your community. They like it. People from my community like me too. You know what I mean? How about you ask a random stranger what they think?
Also creating what might be the best free resource ever for the video. What you see on screen right now.
It's a 1 hour trailer,
my complete air roll mastery sheet.
Okay, let's take a look at that. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Sheet. And I'll leak it to you today for free. Now, this isn't...
Oh, that's so generous. Wait, can we applaud the guy for being so generous? Thank you, man. Thank you. So you modelized in 3D something that I can just check by myself by doing this, by the way, or using this thing, right? What Manu talked about before? How is it called again? Aerial practice. Where is it? Is it aerial training? Wait, there's something here. Oh, this. So basically what he did is that he's giving us something that we can already do here. You know what I mean? Can you put it just a little bit louder? Are you sure about that? Are you sure this is what you want?
Some basic PDF. I've worked with some of Rocket League's best visual designers to map out all 16.
Okay, that's interesting. To show the circles, that's very interesting. That's really interesting, okay?
Both aerial.
I'm not being sarcastic, by the way. This is really interesting. To show the circles is really good. You can also find documents on the internet that already do that. They don't it's just pictures, so it's not animated. You have to figure it out by yourself a little bit. But micro. What? Oh, is my microphone bugging? Hold on. Sorry about that. Let me do something. I'm sorry about your ears. I'm so sorry for your ears. Okay. I think it's good now. Sorry about that. So, yeah, no. Showing in an animated way, it's good. You can also use your eyes in the game. I guess if you don't have aerial rotation practice map, that would be a nice thing to add.
Grounded views, so you can see what air roll does in game from all these different positions.
Yeah, although you don't need to know like all of it, because you don't need to know the whole rotation. You just need to understand that when you start pressing the input, it's going to make a circle, and it's going to come back to the original point. That's mostly what's interesting about it.
If you don't believe me, just pull it up right now. I'll have it first link below and the QR code on screen. Click to grab this sort of beta sheet for free and enjoy. I'm still working with my team of...
But I mean, again, I don't mean to sound mean, but this is something that should have been that should have been part of it for a long time, right? He's got the money to do that. He should have made that a long time ago, right? For instance, right? To help the community. Do you know what I mean? Like, this chart could have been made by anyone else before, and it was just not in an animated way.
Currently to create video walkthroughs and drills and even custom maps and packs for you guys to learn this stuff. So if you have any questions,
that was a clean aerial.
Confusion, just drop it in the comments below, and I'll talk with my team of pros, and we can create some solutions for you in the master guide in a few weeks. But until then, first link below. Enjoy. Today I want to do actually a little bit of a sneak peek lesson. This should be a lot of fun, actually. I've been working on an air roll tutorial, this one, basically that you're about to see, for the last 2 months. I started it at the start of March. It'll probably be ready in a week or two. This is my complete air roll tutorial. I'm really excited to present it to you guys today. I'm basically going to give you guys the outline of the method that I'm teaching in that video, and hopefully take you guys from 0 to air roll mastery, or at least understanding air roll better. What is directional air roll? When I say directional air roll, I'm talking about air roll left, air roll right. Air roll left and air roll right are the foundation of high-level aerial car control. It's not just something flashy that the pros do. At this point, it's been proven that this is more than just flash and to look cool.
Okay, that's true. I would like to see where it's been proven. Like, there's people just say on the internet it makes them better, but nobody's ever proven it. I've tried to do that, but explaining why. I made a video called Why We Use Directional Air Roll, where I try to explain why people say it makes them better. But I would like for him to maybe show that to us. Maybe he will in his actual video, right? J'ai dû voir une vidéo de ce gars il y a genre 5 ans et il fait toujours la même chose, montrer ce que Errol fait quand tu mets le stick dans différentes positions, c'est limite inutile. Je sais pas si c'est inutile, mais en tout cas, il fait toujours, le problème c'est qu'il fait toujours la même vidéo en disant la même chose. C'est surtout ça qui fait chier, quoi. Et qu'il va pas du tout profondément dans les choses, quoi.
Actual utility in directional air roll.
Okay, can we please say, I would like for him to say that it's not just a mechanic, it's also a flying technique. It's important to say that. From this flying technique, you will have so much car control and comfort that it'll be easier for you to learn actual tricks in mechanics, right? If we take the skateboard analogy that I made in my thesis, well, directional air roll is to Rocket League what the ollie is to the skateboard. It's a mechanic in itself, and it's also the technique to get the skateboard up in the sky without using your hands and while just using your feet, right?
It unlocks.
It's like the foundation of many things that come afterwards.
All the different advanced mechanics, and it's the foundation of.
It doesn't unlock the mechanics. It's just easier to do them because it gives you comfort, then it gives you car control, and so it's easy. It's not that you can do a reset. You can do double resets using free air roll or without using any air roll. It just makes it easier while you're flying in the air to put yourself in the right spot because of your car control to do those more advanced mechanics. But I get what he's saying.
True aerial.
I think we all do.
This is why it's so important to learn. Now, most YouTube tutorials out there will do one of two things. Either A, they'll overcomplicate it.
Oh, hold on. Because he's part of those shit tutorials, right? You have to understand that. So is he going to say that they just say... So he says overcomplicated. I think he may be talking to me. I don't think I overcomplicate anything. But then what is he going to say? Is he going to say that they're oversimplify it?
To try to sound smart. Or B.
To try to sound smart. Okay, well, maybe that's me and Grifflicious.
They actually don't know what they're talking about. And so they'll pretty much yap in a circle for 15 minutes and then tell you it's just a feel thing and to go.
That's crazy. It's crazy for him to say that. How much audacity and arrogance does this guy have to say something like that? The guy has made maybe 4 or 5 directional air roll videos. In every one of those videos, he just says upright and downright. And here he doesn't even reference it. Well, I don't know if he puts himself in this basket of what he just said. Those people who just yap for 15 minutes, but he's part of those shit tutorials. Do you know what I mean? I recently saw a dude on Reddit get the new world record on rings without DAR. Made me rethink my DAR journey for a minute. Well, people who speedrun, they really do they know the map by heart, and they do every turn the perfect way. You know that there's a guy, if you go on the speedrun site and you go on Neon Height Rings, right? There's a guy called Ole Marius, and he's like 6th world, and he uses directional air roll. Oh, did I forget to mention that he was also one of my students? Oh, LOL, motherfucker. He yapped around for like 5 years. Yeah, he did.
Grind 100 hours in ranks.
It's crazy.
That is BS advice from people who don't know how to teach.
What the fuck? I feel like I'm listening to myself. I feel like this guy's been on my streams like 20 times and he has listened to everything that I said and he's just saying them again. This guy doesn't know how to fucking teach. He's part of those yapping 15-minute people that's been making shit tutorials all for fucking years now. It's crazy. It's so. Do you understand the irony that we're watching right now? The irony that we're witnessing. It's insane.
Since I have built my brand on teaching, I'm gonna actually teach this mechanic. I'm not gonna tell you guys just go in free play and figure it the fuck out. That's garbage advice.
But that's also what you've said for, like, I'm pretty sure you've said that in many videos also, while also keeping to the same basics of understanding of upright, downright. Like, that's crazy. It's crazy.
Has anybody watched an arrow tutorial like that?
Yeah, they should say, yeah, we watched yours.
Yeah, it was from this small YouTuber named SpookLuke.
Okay, Birdwick.
Ooh, shots fired, motherfucker. Damn.
No, I already know where your jokes are going.
Not gonna lie.
It's not really a joke, though. We all know it. Like, they all know it, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure they all know it, too. Because there's no way that the SpookLuke's fans don't know what people say about SpookLuke. There's no way. Either they're stupid or they're blind, but I don't understand. There's no fucking way they've never heard it, right?
You did kind of walk into that one.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, you walked into it pretty
Today
straightforward.
we're hopefully going to make that a little bit different. We're going to demystify this mechanic, and I'm actually going to break down something. So let's start.
Yeah, but that's what you say in every one of your videos. We're going to demystify it, and it's crazy. Look at his face. He knows, yeah.
With my 8 corners method of
learning. If for people who don't know me who are watching this, I think this person is highly dishonest, but is smart enough to manipulate weaker people, weaker-minded, weaker-spirited people. Okay? I actually think this. Yes, I do think this. Oh, I have no battery left.
Learning directional air roll. Now, a lot of people talk about air roll as if it's this sort of mysterious mechanic that you just have to swing your joystick in a circle until you figure it out.
Yeah, so that's what happens for everything in life until people, some people like me figure them out and actually try to put things into boxes, right? That's what happens for everything. Rocket League is a very special game in a very special kind of game of family of games called, skill games. And of course, it's quite peculiar and unique to have a game like Rocket League. So, of course, people have had a hard time even grasping what the game is in general, which is still the case today, right? It's the tried and true strategy of deflecting. No surprise here. Accusing others of what he does to deflect blame. I'm 99% sure he's completely self-aware. You think so? I don't know. I think he is, but I also think he's stupid in general. I think this guy's IQ is not above 105. To be honest with you. Bro, he's even doing the tutorial on the map. You made your method intro. What?
And you'll see I'm staying in the air here, but I have no idea what's going on. In reality, air roll can be broken down into 8 specific move sets.
Okay. That's oddly specific. Okay, let's see what he says. Because I'm thinking if you say that, you got to speak about angles of the car. And what I say that you can make short inputs. You can also make patterns of inputs, continuous inputs.
Really 16 if you're talking about both air roll left and air roll right. But stay with me. When we think about air roll.
Okay. What do you mean micro? Oh, because I think I'm touching my microphone's cable. Okay, it should be fine. I'm sorry if you hear. My microphone cable is a bit loose. I'm getting more and more convinced that Lost Fellas living rent free in SpookLuke's head, dude. There's no way he hasn't heard of me. There's no way he hasn't watched the video. There's no way my video didn't inspire him, and there's no way my video didn't offend him. There's no way.
We're breaking it down into movements. The reason I say we can break it down into 8 moves is because you can think of it.
Wait, hold on. So 5 minutes. We're gonna go until 22. Okay.
As 8 different joystick inputs. you have.
It's
you guys see
funny.
my pink
It's
drawing,
funny.
okay?
It's funny that he should said that. I also said that. First of all, you don't have to. Okay, let's just see.
Yep.
Is he gonna write? Is he gonna like draw the whole 8 inputs of the joystick?
Think of air roll as up. You know, think of all the ways you can push on your you can push your joystick. You can push your joystick up. You can push your joystick.
Okay, so first of all, you don't have to think that. You can choose 4. As I said in the video, there's a theoretically speaking, in mathematics, there's an infinite amount of points in a circle. Of course, if we want to put things into boxes, we have to make constants out of this. I say there's 8 inputs. Funny, he should say that too. But you can say 4 if you want, right?
Upright. You can push your joystick right. You can push your joystick down right. You could push your joystick down, and so
that's one of the first things I also say, by the way.
And so forth. You guys get the idea, right? Now, technically, there's 360 movement, but let's just simplify it to 8 moves. So if we think about air roll as 8 different inputs, what we can do is we can watch how our car moves when we do those different 8 inputs to really understand what's going on with air roll.
Yeah, but okay. Is he gonna talk about the Industrial Revolution at some point, or SpookLuke after watching your vid? Let's take notes and make them same vid. He's basically copying everything you've said about him and make it about others. Absolutely lunatic behavior. I mean, this again, to me, this guy is a perfect definition of what we call in psychiatry narcissistic, yeah, manipulative narcissistic pervert. That's the definition. I'm not a psychiatrist, even though I do have a psychiatric illness, so I know a little bit about that. I have met those kinds of people in my life. I am a prey to those people because I'm too nice and sensitive. So I don't want to say it like that, but I'm pretty sure that I know how to see who they are. You remember those little laughs that he makes in his tutorials? In his tutorials, sometimes he makes those laughs like, but you're not going to do this now. Things like that. To me, it's a very unauthentic laugh. That's unauthentic laugh. That's pretty much staged. And to me, when he does that, that's where he manipulates people into thinking that he's not wasting their time and whatnot.
So let's do that together. The first input we're going to test is up. If you're flying in the middle of the field, and I'm going to practice air roll left. So if you look at my controller overlay in the top middle of the screen, my B button is air roll right. My X button is air roll, or my square button, excuse me, or X on Xbox is air roll left. That makes sense?
Okay.
B for right, left for air roll left.
Yeah, they're not stupid, dude.
Now, if we hold air roll left and push up on the joystick from this position, watch where the car goes.
It's funny because I did the exact same thing in the thesis. It's even before we come into the method. I say, imagine there's a ball around your car and you press up. When you press up, the nose goes this way. When you press upright, it goes this way at the start of the revolution. That's basically what I've said.
I'll stop it again. Let me do this one more time. If I push up on the joystick, and maybe we'll start from here, from the vertical position, and I hold arrow left from here, watch where the car goes. Everybody see that? Where'd I go?
Well, you stopped air rolling.
To the right.
To the right. Okay, stay with me. I pushed up on the joystick. I went to the right. Let's do this again. Now, instead of
that's what he said in other videos. He just says upright. Now he says up, but okay.
Pushing, now we know up on the joystick sends our car to the right.
Okay, that's not all, but okay. That is not all, but okay.
Okay. Now let's push our joystick up and to the right while holding arrow left. Watch where my car goes.
Yeah, so now they're going to say up and they're going to say right and behind, but that's because you're perfectly vertical. But they're not going to fly 100% vertical because you have to fly forward, right? So that's just going to fuck them up, I think. Plagiarism? I'm not sure yet, but so far, yes, a little bit. Considering they bought his scores, I'd question whether they're actually stupid or not. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's true. Or they can just be weak-minded, and very susceptible to manipulation. So they're going to say right and behind. That's because he was 100% vertical.
Where did I go? Shout it out.
Back right.
Back right. Okay, I pushed up and to the right. My car went back right. Let's do this one more time. So To recap, when I pushed up, my car went this way. When I pushed this way, my car went this way. Let's do it one more time.
Yeah, now he's going to press right. Right, he's going to press right, and the car is going to go like backwards if he's 100% vertical.
Floating in the middle of the field.
Get ready for it.
I'm going to push my joystick to the right and hold arrow left.
Get ready.
Watch where my car goes.
Okay, so first of all, that's what I just said. He's going backwards. He already has a bit of backward speed, but just a tiny bit. That's it. I'm not even sure that it would matter, but still.
Where did it go?
So now people are going to think that when they press right, they're going to go backwards. See how that's a problem? Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? And they're going to think that they can slow down by doing a tornado spin.
Back.
Straight back. Okay.
Which you can, right? It just depends how long you do the input and how much you're boosting. You know what I mean?
What we're noticing here, and I hope you guys see this, is a pattern with arrow. It's actually...
So you know what he's going to say? He's going to say that the inputs don't follow the normal situation that they should follow, and that all of the inputs are a bit lopsided one to the other. That's also something I say in the video, by the way.
Predictable. When I'm using arrow left and I push my joystick up, where did my car go?
Up right.
Right.
When I push my joystick up and right, where did my car go?
Down right.
Back right.
Back right. When I push my joystick to the right, where did my car go?
Down.
Back.
Backwards.
Right. Backwards.
Backwards. So, I explained this more in the video, but it's safe to say that when you use arrow left, A-R-L, you're going to get a 90-degree clockwise rotation in your input. For example, I push my joystick to...
Again, that's something I said in the thesis, that your inputs are going to feel like they're kind of disconnected, like they're derailed from the normal result you would have with them. The problem I have with that is that, well, so far we're just talking about one input per revolution, but they're going to actually start thinking that in order to go backwards, you have to do a tornado spin, right? For instance, do you know what I mean?
To the right and hold arrow left, I'm going to go back. I push my joystick down.
It's funny because
left.
in my way of seeing things, when you do a tornado spin for a whole revolution, you keep on going straight. Do you know what I mean?
Left. I push my joystick to the right. I'm going to go back. I push my joystick.
It kind of throws the reverse clock out of the window if he says that that's how you turn. Yeah, I mean, if he only talks about one input per revolution, he's already really wrong.
Down and to the left. What's 90 degrees from this? Shout it out.
So that's the point of, that's the point of seeing things. And instead of, the way I did my method is that I came to those conclusions at some point, but I discarded them because I saw that either I could prove myself wrong or that they were not the best way to look at something. It's like, imagine that directional arrow is a painting and you're trying to paint the face, right? Because the face is, like we're interested in seeing the face of the person. What people do and what he's doing right now is that he's looking at directional arrow, but he thinks he's looking at the face, but he's actually looking back at the hair, right? He's watching the person from backwards. So he's looking at something, but he's not choosing to look at what's important and the right way to say it and the right way to look at it. Do you understand what I mean? Do you understand the analogy? That's why so many people make tutorials about some things, about mechanics and whatnot. And the problem is that all of the tutorials are different because they each look at the thing from a different perspective. What I try to do with my method is to look at the person, right? But I even try to get to know the person I'm looking at. That's not really a good analogy. It doesn't really make sense. Do you understand a bit of the analogy?
Up and left, front left, exactly. So we're always making these right angles. Now this isn't a geometry.
This is correct if you are 100% vertical, right? And if you say, like I say in my video, that just at the beginning of the revolution, because if you keep the input, it's not going to be the case. Do you understand what I mean? Does it make sense? And well, he's not into like he so far he's just into like short inputs and whatnot, but that's fine.
Class, and this won't be on the test. But the idea is, arrow isn't this mysterious mechanic that when you press an input, your car goes a random direction. No, it's predictable. There are 8 different motions.
Yeah, but it's predictable. And everyone who makes the method claims that it's predictable.
And when you're holding arrow left, predictably, each input on your joystick will be rotated 90 degrees and you'll travel in that direction. If you don't believe me, I'm going to show you how arrow right works. How many people here use arrow right?
I do.
Well, they use it, but they don't know how to use it.
A little less than 50%. Okay, that's common. Most people use arrow left. On arrow right, let's watch what happens. I'm going to do the exact same pattern I did on arrow left, and I want you guys to shout out where my car's going. So I'm going to push my joystick up, and I'm going to hold arrow right. Watch what happens.
Yeah.
Where did my car go?
Okay. Rewatch this carefully and tell me what you see.
What happens? I'm going to do the exact...
Watch. We're going to put it in slow motion because I just saw something that I don't like.
Same...
Yeah.
Pattern on arrow left.
Watch. Look at his car. Look at the horizontal speed.
Shout out where my car's going.
Right, it starts now. Watch. He points his nose down.
Push my joystick.
So if he boosts now, he's gonna go forward.
Up. And I'm gonna
He corrects it again.
arrow right.
He presses up again, down again, up again. Boop, 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 boop.
Where did my car go?
And again, how should I put this? He's not keeping the input. So that it's important to say how long you keep the input when you do something, because how long you keep an input is going to make a difference. And if you keep boosting throughout, or if you don't boost throughout, it's going to make a difference. Do you know what I mean? No.
Straight left.
Straight left. Now, for the smart people in class, you can predict where this is going, but stay with me. I'm now going to press arrow right, and instead of pushing my joystick up, I'm going to push my joystick.
No, I thought he was going to say it's going down like backwards left. You know what I mean? And I was like, well, no, because he stops air rolling.
To press arrow right, and instead of pushing my joystick up, I'm going to push my joystick front left. So we just learned that when I pushed my joystick up with arrow right, I went left. Watch this. I'm going to push my joystick up and to the left and hold arrow right. See where I go. Where did I go?
Oh, shit. I thought... Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. I fucked up.
Left. So we just learned that... And instead of pushing my joystick up, I'm going to push my joystick front left. So
no.
Press S. You can predict where this is going,
there
but
you go.
Stay with me. I'm now going to press arrow right. And instead of pushing my joystick up, I'm going to push my joystick front left. So we just learned that when I pushed my joystick up with arrow right, I went left. Watch this. I'm going to push my joystick up and to the left and hold arrow right. See where I go.
Did I just fuck up? Am I stupid?
And going, but stay with me. I'm now going to press arrow right. And instead of pushing my joystick up,
there we go.
I'm going to push my joystick front left. So we just learned that when I pushed my joystick up with arrow right, I went left.
Wait, what? Am I stupid?
People in class, you can...
Oh, there we go. It was
so
here.
I'm going to push my joystick up, and I'm going to hold arrow right. Watch what happens. Where did my car go? Right. Watch what happens.
Yeah, okay. I just didn't like the fact that he stopped his thing. I thought he was kind of making it the way he wanted to be. But that's fine. That's fine.
Straight left.
Straight left. Now, for the smart people in class, you can predict where this is going, but stay with me. I'm now going to...
I just didn't like the fact that he stopped air rolling. I thought he was going to make an adjustment in order to prove himself right. But he didn't do that. So that's fine. I was a bit mean here.
Right, and instead of pushing,
We just lost 2 minutes of your life for no reason.
Joystick front left. So we just learned that when I pushed my joystick up with arrow right, I went left. Watch this. I'm gonna push my joystick up and to the left and hold arrow right. See where I go.
The smart people are not watching.
Where did I go?
Back left.
Back left. And so, does anybody want to hazard a guess at how arrow right works? If arrow left rotates you 90 degrees this way, what does arrow right do?
90 degrees counterclockwise.
90 degrees counterclockwise. Exactly. Does anybody...
What I don't like
heard
about
anybody
that,
explain this
let me say something. What I don't like about that is that he's choosing specific boxes that are not going to be what happens when you play, right? Because when you play, oh shit, I'm still in this thing. When you play, you realize that pressing right, for instance, which makes me go forward if I'm a bit. So again, he doesn't tell them that he's full vertical. Of course, the more vertical I'm going to be, the more I'm going to be backwards. The more horizontal, the more I'm going to be frontwards. But what matters is that it doesn't make me turn relative to where my nose was pointing at the beginning. That's what's important to learn to me. It's not important to me to know that this is how you slow down. No, first of all, this is not how you will slow down. This is how you will slow down, right? If you're like this, if I'm like this and I do a tornado spin, am I going to slow down? You tell me. If I go like this and I do a tornado spin, am I slowing down here? No. You know why? Because there's a certain angle threshold that the car takes and cannot go further when you hold an input for one revolution. That's why we call them tornado spins and Kirkster spins and shit. And that's why we don't do that when we fly, usually. One input is not enough. So he's teaching them that they're going to go backwards. So he doesn't tell them that he's fully vertical. So he doesn't tell them that that's why he goes backwards. Because if he had done it by going a bit horizontal, he would not go backwards, right? He would go up. And if he was even more horizontal, then he would go forward. Do you understand the difference? So it's like two schools of thoughts, I think. But I think my school of thought is better for people. He's not telling them about the verticality factor that has to be taken into account here. To me, I don't care about the verticality factor. What I care about is the directions that the car is taking. If I press right, my car is not going to change direction if I hold the boost and the input on one revolution. If I press left, my car is not going to change direction on one revolution while pressing full boost. I'm going to go straight. That's what matters to me most. Now I realize that when I press up, like up left, up or up right, or down left, down or down right, oh, my car takes a direction. That's what's important to me. So what he's saying here, it's not incorrect, but it's not really, it's a bit incomplete because he doesn't talk about the fact that the only reason the car are taking these directions is because he's starting from vertical. So if you go vertical and you press down, you will go backwards, sure. But what happens if I'm a tiny bit more horizontal? Well, if I'm a tiny bit more horizontal, then I'm going to go up, right? See? And if I go even more horizontal, then I'm going to go straight. So to me, it's kind of a waste of time to teach them that. What he should be teaching them is that these input left and right on a one revolution basis with full boost, they don't make you strafe in any direction. They make you go straight. Whereas if you press an input from up and down, you will strafe at the beginning of the revolution, then you will keep going straight from this point. See, I go right and then I'll go straight from this point. And if I go down, I go left at the beginning, and then I go, oh shit, let me take a bit more height. I go left at the beginning, and then I go straight from this point. That's what, wouldn't you say that's more important than teaching people that if I'm, like, again, I'm the one saying that the reason he's saying these things is because he's fully vertical. He doesn't, I don't know if he doesn't know that and he's not telling people, or if he knows that and he's misleading people into thinking that pressing right at any point of the verticality is going to make you go backwards, because that is not true. Do I go backwards here? No, because I'm more horizontal to start with. So to me, the direction in which the car goes is not really as important as, I mean, it's not important if you don't say from which verticality point you're starting. Did you understand what I just said? He's saying something that's right, but he's not saying everything that matters about this thing, and he's, in the end, not saying what matters the most. If I'm perfectly vertical and I press right, yes, I will go backwards. But first of all, people are going to think that in order to go backwards, they have to press right. It's not true. And he's not saying that because you're going backwards only because you're flying perfectly vertical. As soon as you change the verticality of the car, that backwards thing, it's not going to work anymore. So I'm wondering what kind of thing is he going to say next? Is he going to correct that, or what can he possibly say to correct that except for what I've just said? The verticality is gonna change a little bit of where your car is heading in the first direction, right? If I'm highly vertical, what matters to me is that my car still turns to the right here. Am I making sense? Do you understand what I'm saying? So again, if you're perfectly vertical, yes, you will go backwards by pressing right. But this is without telling people that it's because you're vertical. And people are gonna think, hey, in order to go backwards, I have to press to the right. What are they gonna feel like when they realize that they're going this way, and they're gonna be like, oh, I want to make a reverse. Oh, let me just wait. What? Hold on. He says press right, go backwards, right? Why? I can't go backwards. I'm not going backwards. What the fuck? This is what they're gonna feel like. Do you understand? So to me, it's more important to say that. That's something I say before the beginning of the method. I say there's directional inputs and there's non-directional inputs. And I say what a directional input is to me, it's when the car does not start strafing at the beginning of the revolution while holding on the input and pressing full boost. Do you understand? So that's what I'm saying. That's what I said like 10 minutes ago with how people make their tutorials. They think they're looking at the right thing, but first of all, they're not looking at everything. And because they're not looking at everything, they cannot go in depth enough. Do you understand the problem that we just saw here on this video? On what he just said, what he's saying right now? So I don't know what he's going to say afterwards. But he should already... I mean, he's already mislead. I don't know if he's doing it willingly or not, but to me, that's misleading people into thinking that when they press right, they're going to go backwards. Do you know what I mean? Am I making sense here? Do you understand what I'm saying?
No.
No.
It actually boggles my mind that nobody has explained this.
Not in as much detail.
Well, you know why they haven't explained it? Because that's not the right thing to say, and it's not the right way to say it.
Correct. This is what I was amazed by when I found tutorials. People are just still saying it's a feel thing in 2025, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
What are you talking about? All you said is press upright and downright, you Mongol. This guy is so arrogant. Holy shit. Don't you think they've seen your tutorials and they know what people think about them?
Be honest, it's not a feel thing. It's very predictable.
Did you just say be honest?
In 2025, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? It's not a feel thing. It's very predictable. And so, just to skip ahead and prove it to you, this works all the way around the clock. So if you're using arrow right and you want to go back into the right, let's draw this out for a second.
Please don't say that.
Back into the right.
Oh,
well,
no, please don't say it. Please don't say it. Please don't say it.
We know that if I push up,
no,
right, I go left.
No.
So if I
mean, it's not a feel thing. No, what he's saying is that people shouldn't make tutorials in order to say just figure it out for yourself, which he has done himself, by the way. I agree, but I never told people to figure it out for themselves. That's the difference. It is a feel thing in the sense that the point of it is that it has to be muscle memory, which means it has to be subconscious. In order to be subconscious, what is muscle? How do we build muscle memory? By repeating it, right? But what do we repeat? We repeat patterns. Patterns stem from where? Constants. Oh, so we have to find a constant. He has not said that. So it is, of course, it's a feel thing. But just because it's a feel thing doesn't mean that, like, just because that's why I made my video. Just because it's a feel thing doesn't mean that there's no theory behind it. Of course, there's theory behind it.
So this is the angle it moves.
So he's right about saying that. It's just quite awesome that he would be actually saying that himself when he is part of those people. But it's better to figure out by yourself than to use SL tutorials. I mean, I'm kind of scared of what the tutorials that's coming in a few weeks should be, to be honest with you. Because if this is the way he's going to go, listen to what he's going to say now.
That 90 degrees this way. Now, anybody want to guess? If I push back into the left with arrow right, where am I going to go?
Again, he's not talking about the verticality that your car has. So this makes no sense whatsoever. As soon as you understand that the verticality is going to change, none of this matters, because that would mean that you would have to learn every different axis of the car. What you would have to, if you follow this, in the end, he doesn't know that, and he's not going to say it, and they're pretty much not going to understand that. But if you do what he says now, that means you're going to have to learn what each input that he's showing does for each axis of the car, the car's verticality, right? Oh, I'm watching How I Met Your Mother. Yes, you caught me. So if you follow what he says, that means that you're going to have to learn what the inputs do here, and 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 here. Do you understand how it's crazy to say that? That's why it doesn't matter to say that. That's not what matters. We can verify it on a specific verticality point, right? For sure. But that's not really what matters in the end.
Downright, precisely. And I will prove it to you right now. By the way, I don't use arrow right, and you can look at my controller so you can see I'm not manipulating this.
So, okay, that's really dishonest. I don't know if it's dishonest, but I'm still going to call it out. He's not saying, I don't know if it's because he doesn't know it, but he's not saying that it's because he's going full vertical.
Right, but if I push down and to the left and hold arrow right, you see where my car went?
Now, imagine if he explained it for every different angle of verticality of the car. And he would tell you, well, just learn it by yourself. Because that's basically where he's heading right now.
Into the back right. And if that 8 corners method has been helpful and you want even more help, drop me a DM on...
Wait, that was it? Oh my God, that was it? Fuck off. That was it? I'm a bit disappointed.
Discord. Just send me the keyword air. First link below. I'd love to help you save time improving and help you rank up even...
No, we don't believe you anymore, Luke. I just showed it again.
Faster. I'll have my Discord first link below, keyword air, so I know you came from this video, and we could chat about helping you rank up too.
No, you're not gonna chat with all of us. Don't play that card, dude. Are you going to make a YouTube tutorial using another YouTube tutorial, but going more into depth about it?
So this is actually how directional arrow works. And this is just one discovery I made.
No, so this is not how it works, by the way. That's really reducing it to something that's... It's not that it's incorrect, it's that it's incomplete. So if you base your whole understanding on this, you don't understand anything. Because if you understand this and you say, hey, that's all I need to learn, to understand, then pretty soon you're gonna realize, well, wait, what I just said, well, pretty soon you're gonna realize that, wait, if I'm going like this and I press right, I should be going backwards, but I'm not going backwards. And then you're going to figure out by yourself, oh, yes, that's because I'm going horizontal. And then you're going to realize, wait, do I have to learn all of these inputs for every angle of the verticality of the car? And then you're going to be like, well, I'm fucked. And you will be right to think that. Because it's correct. You will be fucked.
In the last month or two of kind of investigating this mechanic in detail.
Yeah. I'm not going to say it.
I'm not going to say it. Had a long conversation with ChatGPT, where I was trying to understand the tornado spin, and at the end it basically called me stupid and showed me this graph. So,
well, you know, when ChatGPT calls you stupid and makes a fucking drawing for like an 8-year-old like guy, you should really question yourself. Me, I never use ChatGPT, dude. I use my brain. I don't let the fucking... Why would he say that? Why would he say that? It's ridiculous. Why would you say that a computer called you stupid and you were so stupid that he made a fucking drawing? That's not even what a tornado... What do you mean, tornado spin? How is this a tornado spin? Yo, that just killed me. What the fuck? What do you mean? Why would you say that to yourself?
Oh.
Why would you put this in the video?
TLDR, this method will work even for dummies or learn.
No, that's not what it means. It means you're so stupid. Even ChatGPT told you, what the fuck are you doing, bro? That's TLDR, man. What do you mean? Wait, how is this tornado spin? 45 degree? What? How is this a tornado spin? How do you need ChatGPT to understand what a tornado spin is? What do you mean? The car is rotating on its axis, and you keep... So basically what you do when you do a tornado spin, if I was flying without it, is that you just do this. You just turn to the right. Basically you just do this when you do a tornado spin. You just do this. But because you're pressing air roll, it makes the spiral movement. By the way, the spiral movement would be different if the air roll speed was different, right? If I did a tornado spin like this right now, see, the tornado spin would not have the same angle. Okay? So we're lucky that we have this thing, by the way. I don't understand. And what is this image? I don't understand the image. So when you do a tornado spin, oh my Lord, Jesus, help me. Hold on, give me a second. Let me just show you something. You can just find this on the... You don't need ChatGPT. You can just look for the internet and you will find something. And you will find this thing. Let me show it to you. Right? So this is a tornado spin. That's what it does. Right? So you kind of understand a little bit about the angles because, you know, it's not animated, but so that's what happens when you press to the right. The nose follows this course, comes back to its initial point. What the fuck? That's all it is. And the thing that we call Coxer spins by pressing up and down, it's the same thing as a tornado spin, except that your car is going on one revolution basis. If you boost, your car will turn a little bit here, and then it will turn a little bit here. So this goes to the right, this goes to the left. That's it. Oh my God. I would never dare say that about myself, dude. I asked ChatGPT and it basically called me stupid. What the fuck is wrong with you, dude? God bless the commenter who mentioned the lost method when I was trying to learn air roll from that scammer's video. Well, I don't know about God bless, but I hope someone makes a better video than mine. Because my video is not perfect. There's a few things I wish now, because I have a bit more wisdom, I wish I had said differently. But, like... 468,000 people are going to watch this and believe that guy. Do you understand the problem?
Running air roll. That is the 8 corners method. Now.
So that was a method. So first of all, okay, let's say things, okay. I am attached to language. This is not a method. This is an observation. Okay. 300, yeah, but the video just came out, dude. It came out 4 hours ago. This is going to have more likes than me when my video is 1 year old. So, can we stop with the word method? How is this a method? It's not a method. It's an observation. A method is a reasoned, it's a logical reasoning step by step while following a system. That's the definition of a method in order to talk about a subject. That's not a method in any way, shape, or form. It's an observation that's already incomplete.
The 8 corners method shows you that whatever direction you input, you will reflect 90 degrees clockwise if you're using air roll right, or 90 degrees counterclockwise, or excuse me, if you're using air roll left. This is where it gets so confusing. And if you're using air roll right, that input on your joystick will be mapped 90 degrees counterclockwise. So
Jesus, I didn't understand any of that, to be honest with you. But I'm a bit too tired already. I don't really understand. I don't really understand what the point of that was. Because by just doing this, I literally I destroyed this whole argument by getting a bit more horizontal. Because now I'm pressing right and I'm going forward, which is literally the opposite of what he said. He said when I go right, I go 90 degrees from that, which is down, which is backwards, right? But now when if I'm horizontal a little bit and I press right, I'm going forward. Do you understand how this doesn't make sense? It's like, how should I put this? He's forgetting that the ass of the car moves, right? He's forgetting that we can do this. He thinks we're just flying like this. He thinks we're talking about strafing, right? Like I can strafe somehow to the right by here. I don't know how. I don't understand. See, here I was like 90 degrees vertical, so I went backwards. Yes, but so what does he have to say if I just do this? He should have added, you know what he should have? He should have added what I've said before. He should have added that this 90-degree change also occurs depending on the verticality at which you do it. So if you are vertical and you press right, you will go backwards. If you're 45 degrees and you press right, you will go up. If you're like 90 degrees and you press right, you will go you will go down. Oh, wait, I'm confused now. If you press right vertical, you go backwards. If you press right a bit horizontal, you go up. If you press right a little bit even more horizontal, then you start to go up and in front of you. If you press right and you are horizontal, then you go in front of you and down. You know, he should have added that. Do you understand? That's what he should have added this. But then, even if he had said that, which he should have said, even if he had said that, do you imagine how many things you're asking people to learn right now already? So I have to learn what each input, by heart, I have to learn what each input does when I press it, depending on the angle of the car, on the angle of verticality of the car. Like vertical, 45, 90, you know? That's insane. That's an insane amount of things to learn. It's an insane amount of things to learn. And he based his whole thing on that? You kidding me? Okay, what's next?
This idea all depends on what? The starting position of our car.
Oh,
now, what
there it
you'll
is.
notice is, if I'm flying in this position, which is how I was when I was showing you guys those drills.
Oh, I think he's gonna say now.
Left. If I hold arrow left here and I push up, I turn to the right. We discovered that from the start. Now,
if you just look a little bit more, you're gonna notice if you press up, your nose is already going to go to the right and a bit down.
If I'm starting here and I flip my car over, I'm now upside down.
My God, you have got to be kidding me! Even when I have an ounce of hope for the guy, he ends up disappointing me. Is he actually going to say now? So instead of talking about the different verticality, he's going to tell you about the different angles of the rotation of the car.
If I do the same input, instead of going to the right, where do you guys think I will go?
To the left.
To the left.
Precisely.
You got to be shitting me. So, oh my God. Dude, you cannot be serious.
Exact same input, up and arrow left, I fly to the left. And this is why...
To me, this is really... Comment on dit grave en anglais? C'est très grave. It's really bad to say that. But so now, he hasn't talked about verticality yet. So now, let me get this straight. You have to learn what each input does when the car is vertical, right? Without saying that it's because it's vertical. And so that's 8 inputs. Now you have to learn backwards. So that's 16 inputs. Is he going to say you have to learn for each angle of the revolution? And how many is he going to say? Is he going to say that because there's 8, if we say there's 8 inputs on the joystick, then we say there's 8 angles of the revolution of the car? So now you have to learn 8 different things just for being vertical. You have to make it twice because now you're going the other way. And even so, that's 16. And at some point, maybe he's going to talk about the verticality and how many angles are there. Even if he just says 3, that's already 3 times 16. Right? 3 fois 18, 3 fois 3 et 1, 4. That's 48, am I right? Wow. Dude, I thought he was going to talk about the verticality. I was like, okay, I just talked a bit of things for no reason because now he's coming to it. But he's not.
To people. The same input sends your car a different direction.
Oh my God.
Based on the reference point, or in other words, the starting position of your car.
Yeah, when he says reference point, I don't think he means the same thing as I do. I'm not sure, as when I say unusual revolution. But, oh my God, dude, this is painful.
Is this making sense?
Yeah.
Cool. Here's where air roll gets interesting. To understand how your car moves.
Thanks for this banger, Papa Losfell. Really enjoy this a lot. Have a good one and hope you enjoy your shift. Thank you, man. See you later. See you later, Logan. Take care, man.
From each of these positions, you need to understand the 8 corners method, and you also need to understand something I call reference points. Now, I'm going to give you guys a little sneak peek at what's about to happen with this video. I've been working with the entire GCB team to create a completely free air roll cheat sheet for you guys. And basically what it's going to do is it's going to map out every single joystick input and exactly what happens with your car. And so I'm working with some of the best visual designers in Rocket League to map these out. And so you can see if I hold arrow left and press my joystick to the right, this is what's going to happen. Now, to give you a sneak peek, if you hold...
So this is literally, this right there, this is the image I just showed you, by the way. It's literally the same thing.
Roll left and you push your joystick to the right. Let me go to my folder here. Arrow left, joystick to the right. This is what the animation looks like.
Yep, okay. That's not important. I mean, the angle of the circle is going to change a little bit. Yeah, sure. But that's... Am I going to have to repeat what I just said like 30 minutes ago?
Air roll left, joystick.
So that's a tornado spin. So what tornado spin does is that, see, it's a flat axis here. It's 3D, so it doesn't look like it's flat. But if you're vertical, it's a flat axis, right?
Let's freeze this animation halfway through.
And now you freeze the animation halfway through.
We freeze it precisely halfway. There we go. No, it's not precisely halfway. We freeze it here.
What the fuck? Where's my car facing halfway through? Backwards, but in any direction, your car is going to be facing backwards if you're vertical. What do you mean? If I press up, if I'm vertical, and I press up at some point, my nose is going to go backwards. It just depends at which point in the circle it's going to go backwards. I am so confused, and I'm not just confused, I'm also very disappointed and very scared. I'm extremely scared. Do you guys understand what the problem is?
Halfway through the spin.
Well, now we're going to talk about half revolution inputs. So he said you have to understand the 8-corner method. That's 8 fucking things to learn by heart already. Times 2. And we're just talking about short inputs.
To the back. Precisely. And so the idea that I'm trying to get across here is when you press air roll.
And some people tell me I overcomplicate it. What the hell? That's
left,
insane.
You push your joystick to the right. Where does it go? 90 degrees. Clockwise.
No, but that depends when you boost, and that depends at which verticality point you start, and that depends when you boost. What if I don't boost and I boost halfway through? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what if I do this? You know? And what if I change the verticality also? What the fuck? As someone who learned how to air roll a year or two ago, I truly can't remember what clicked. It was before I watched your video, but it was literally just going into free play and doing rings map a little for every day. Then one day committing more seriously to getting more used to it and just clicked, yeah. So that's empiricism, right? After watching your video, a lot of things made sense and what made more aware of what was happening. Yeah, well, thank you. I'm glad you say that. Holy shit. People say I overcomplicate things. Do you listen to this guy? He doesn't even talk about the verticality. Again, what is he going to say? Well, if we start here, then I don't go backwards anymore. I mean, of course, my car tends to go backwards because it just makes a circle around it. So, of course, if it makes a circle, at some point it's going to be as backwards as it can be. Right? Your method is very simple. I think people say you are complete because it's because it's longer because I repeat myself. The reason I repeat myself, Simon told me you repeat yourself too much in that video, and I told him I don't want people to ask questions that I've already answered. I want them to be sure. I want that when I say something in the video, they think, oh wait, does he mean that? And then I repeat it, so the viewers goes like, okay, yeah, okay, he says that. I get it. That's why I repeat things, right?
That's how arrow left works.
That's just crazy, man.
Making sense to everyone?
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you, Yama. Thank you very much.
This system...
The intro is like 50 hours of work. It's literally cinema. If people know about cinema, it's cinema.
Works when your car is in the standard flying position. Let's call it the perfect flying position. What I'm talking
you talk about a reference point before, and now it's called the perfect flying position.
about is wheels down, nose up, just like this.
Okay, so now he's talking about verticality. After all of this, he's talking about verticality. At what point is he going to say that that everything he says doesn't make sense anymore?
Perfectly.
As soon as you change vertical.
The confusing thing about air roll is not only does air roll direction change when you put your car upside down. So now right is left, left is right.
Yeah, so you shouldn't focus on that at all, actually.
Et cetera, et cetera. Upright is back right, or back left, et cetera, et cetera. It also changes based on the starting orientation of your car.
So now, after all of this shit, he says it. So he said, so he has said, learn 8 different things, then learn twice as much by doing the half revolution things. And now we're going to change verticality and everything else is going to change. So now I'm wondering, how many vertical points does he consider there are?
That's not just if it's right side up or upside down. I'm talking about what happens when you tornado spin from grounded versus tornado spin from...
So again, he's talking about directional arrow as though it was just short inputs already. Maybe he's going to come later to continuous inputs, but so far, we don't really care about that. What's important to notice is that when you press this button for full boost for a whole revolution, your car does not change direction. That's it.
Vertical versus tornado spin from straight up.
And he said, because people are bad teachers. You know what a good teacher is? Is someone with a great sense of analysis, a good sense of elocution, and empathy. So far, we're 16 minutes in. We already have to learn 16 different things. And we have not even talked about the neutral revolution because he doesn't think about that. But now we're going to talk about verticality. So we're going to add to those 16 inputs. Do you think that's empathy right there?
These are all different. Different results are happening each time. And so to understand this, you need to understand what...
Again, depending on the angle. So you have to add, depending on the verticality angle, the direction is going to change again and again and again.
I call the neutral position. And there are really 3 key positions to understand.
So hold on. There was... he talked about a reference point. I didn't understand what it was. Then he talked about the perfect flying angle or something. And now he's talking about the neutral position.
Sense. Has anybody watched my original air roll tutorial where I kind of coined the term neutral position?
Yeah.
Did you coin the... Oh, my God. Okay, that's a claim, by the way. That's a claim right there.
Making a change to that. So whatever you've heard in that video, forget about it.
Okay. Well, okay, that's a lot. Okay. I'm okay with people, changing what they say a little bit. I say, you shouldn't focus on calibration. It was a mistake of me to put it into the patterns, But to say, erase everything I've said, then what does that mean about this video I'm watching? Are you going to come back 3 years later, in 3 years, and say, forget about everything you watched here? Do you know what I mean? How is this being a good content creator? How is this even being a good businessman for that matter? Imagine you sell something that is supposed to be thought about, and you come back 3 years later and you said, everything I said, it's bullshit. Forget about everything. That's why I spent 9 months doing the method. Because in 9 months, I found things and I proved myself wrong every time in order to see if I was right. And then at some point, I came to a conclusion. I'm not going to lie. I haven't watched your Everworld vid, so I had to go watch the intro, and it is beyond amazing. Well, how do you know me? The voice in the whole part could have been a different YouTube video myself. Thank you, man. I'm glad you liked it. It was really fun to make. It was work, but it was really fun.
I'm expanding on the definitions that...
So, no, you're not expanding on the definitions. You're saying forget about everything.
Yeah. So whatever you've heard in that video, forget about it. I'm expanding on
definitions. No. You can't say forget about what you heard in my video and then say you're expanding on the definitions. If you're expanding on the definitions, that means that you're still talking about the last thing you were talking about. You're just going maybe a bit more in depth, right?
I made 4 years ago. There are really 3 positions I think you need to understand. You have the grounded position. Think of this as your standard driving. You know, literally like you see my car right now.
That's called horizontal. You can just say you're horizontal, right?
Everybody makes sense? What does grounded look like?
Driving,
like this. The second position you need to understand to reach aerial mastery is what I would call...
aerial mastery. Probably from your aerial vid, I just never watched it. Oh, okay. You just... Okay.
Flying position. So think of this as your perfect...
What does that mean, flying position?
Not what you would do in game, per se, but we're going to call this... think perfect. Perfect flying.
So, perfect flying. So he means literally vertical. Like 90-degree vertical to the ground.
And when I say perfect flying, I mean car like this.
Yeah, so he means vertical.
No straight up. That makes sense?
So he's trying to make terminology that's a bit weird, but okay. To each his own terminology, I guess.
No straight up.
I think instead of saying grounded, you could say horizontal, but okay. Didn't I say before the video that he would take things that I say and he would make a new terminology on it? By the way, didn't I say that?
And the last one, I'll allow you to watch.
Thank God he's not saying anything substantially, like, exact to my video, because holy shit.
Funny graphic in the back. The last position...
How is vertical perfect flying? It's just a terminology, you know?
That you need to understand is the neutral. So this is position or normal. This is the name that I coined in my original YouTube tutorial. And this neutral position is between the grounded and flying position. Precisely.
Is it going to be like 45 degree vertical?
It is 67.5 degrees forward. Once again, this won't be on the test, but it is. You can think of it as your most common flying position that you'll be doing in ranked.
Okay, why take such an arbitrary thing? At least if you want to make 3 different verticalities, why not make them like, hold into boxes like fucking horizontal, fucking vertical, and fucking 45 degree? Why make it 67 degree? What do you mean? This is so arbitrarily precise. What the hell? What the fuck are we watching? Do you know what I mean? So this is part of teaching well also. When you put things in boxes, you want to put things in general boxes that can be relatively understood from very far away, right? It's just, to me, that's just having a little bit of logic and empathy as a coach or even as a businessman. Why the fuck would you say that? 67.5 degree. So wait, there's grounded position, then there's perfect flying position, and now there's neutral, which is, it's not this, guys. It's not this either. It's not this. It's this. Hold on, let me try to, it's this right there, which is basically vertical, right? Do you understand? How is this being a good teacher? You had an opportunity to put 3 things into 3 general boxes. You put two of them in a very general box, and then you put the third one in such an arbitrary, weird position. Weird box. What the fuck?
A little bit tilted forward. Does that make sense? This is what neutral looks like. That making sense to everyone?
And they're all like, yeah, sure. This is so arbitrary. What?
So we have grounded, which looks like this.
Yeah.
Whether you're in the air, or, on the ground.
Yeah.
When your car is flat, like it would be driving.
Yeah. Okay. Horizontal. Yeah, I get it.
You have the perfect flying position.
Okay.
Which is like this.
Okay.
Nose straight up. Straight to the sky.
Oh, you mean vertical? Okay, I get it. Okay. I'm doing what a normal person would say. By the way.
Then we have what I call the neutral position, which is that slight tilt forward.
Oh yeah, like 45 degree, dude. Yeah, about 45 degree. Well, precisely 67.5. It's ridiculous. What do you mean? What the fuck?
7.5 degrees to be precise. So what have we covered so far? We've covered the 8 corners.
Okay, so we've covered so far. Let me say that for you, Lukey. We've said so far that you have to learn what the 8 inputs of the joystick do on a perfect flying position, which is vertical. We've learned that we have to learn them all when they're half revolution, right? Yeah.
Which is, we can...
And now we have to learn them for all of those 3 different verticalities. Ready?
Predictably send our car a certain direction.
Ready?
Based on 8 different inputs. Up, down, left, right. On our joystick, and then everything in between. And then we've also covered the definition on 3 different sort of reference points. Right?
Oh, so those are the reference points. Okay, I feel
them
you.
as maybe starting positions, put a little bit easier. Mm-hmm. And these can be anything. You might start an aerial from, this position, and you'll have to fly back up to the ball. But most times, your camera will look like this. You'll either be grounded, you'll either be perfectly flying, right, or you will be in what I would call neutral, slightly tilted forward. That's why we...
Please, no, say it again. I want you to say, Spooky, my Luke, my man, my brother from another mother that I don't want to meet. Say it, 67.5 degrees. He was proud of that, by the way. He was proud of actually calculating. So somebody, for him, I think he asked somebody to tell him what exactly his angle was.
Establish these definitions because they're the most common ranked scenarios. So learning...
Okay, so that's the problem. They're the common ranked scenarios. That's his whole problem. He doesn't just talk about the aerial, the flying technique. He wants you to think about ranked scenarios. What the fuck? Whatever you mean? Like whatever you mean? So you're telling me that the most how fucking stupid you have to understand that when I do an aerial like this, my nose is not pointing downwards. What does that mean? That I have to be either highly vertical or a highly normal neutral position? Whatever does that mean? Wouldn't you rather teach people how to control their car, like just as it is? By saying, hey, there's many angles of the revolution. Let's just choose one and focus on this one and master it. So here's what happens on neutral position when you do this input and this input. So we can say that those 2 inputs are the same. We can say that those 6 inputs are different, right? Then you say, well, what's the difference between left and right then? You can say, well, when I go to the right part of the joystick, my nose tends to go up. When I go to the left side, it tends to go down. Isn't that just a bit easier than to say all this fucking terminology that makes no sense? It's not that it makes no sense. It's that it's a useless thing to think about.
Each air roll adjustment from these 3 starting points is going to be the fastest way to practically master air roll for ranked. Sure.
Okay, can he stop saying for ranked? We don't care about ranked. We don't. Imagine you're trying to swim in order to play water polo, and this guy tells you, well, if you put your arm like this specific angle, it's going to help you in games. No, just teach me how to fucking swim correctly is all I'm asking. We don't care about the games yet. But what did he say right before? Hold on.
Learning each air roll adjustment from these 3 starting points is going to be the
Wait, hold on.
Each air roll adjustment slightly tilted forward. That's why we've established these definitions.
Hold on.
Because they're the most common ranked scenarios. So learning each air roll adjustment from these 3 starting points is going to be the fastest way to practically master air roll.
So learning 8 times 3, that's 24 different things by heart, is going to be what makes you good in rank. That's what he's saying.
For ranked. Yeah. Sure, you could learn how to fly, how all the adjustments work when you're facing back left. But when you're taking off for an aerial, is your car going to look like this? Probably not.
Okay, so he's saying one thing that makes sense.
So the name of the game...
But so if you say that, then why did we talk about half revolution before? I don't get it. Just train your brain to quickly switch between 48 different techniques. What's the problem? You might as well. This is a teaching problem. That's a teaching skill. In theory, people have to understand something. In theory, right? In theory, of course, we would have to, if we were robots and we could learn things just by doing them once and perfect them afterwards, we would need only to learn what each single input does for each angle of the revolution of the car. That's it. But because we're humans and we can't do that, we agree on a consensus to start learning things from a neutral position. What am I saying? What I call a neutral revolution. Je crois que le fait qu'il fait plein de cash avec ça, tout ça est une preuve indéniable de la véracité et de la pertinence de ses propos. Let me say that in English. Yama says, I believe the fact that he's made tons of cash with all this is an undeniable proof of the veracity and the relevance of all of his arguments.
The start is to sort of build the foundation of air roll knowledge by understanding how these adjustments work from grounded, from flying, and from neutral.
Okay, yeah. So again, that's what did I predict this? Didn't I? Jesus Christ, did I not predict this like 30 minutes ago? So now he's asking you to learn all of those 8 method things from horizontal, vertical, and 67.5 degree. So 8 times 3. I teach you about 16 different things, a bit less. By heart and by muscle memory. 16, that's a lot. He wants you to learn already 24.
Here's where I'm going to blow your mind a little bit.
Okay, please blow my mind. Dude, blow my mind and I will... I'll blow something else on you.
It's the method that I popularized 4 years ago, but I didn't have words to explain why it was correct.
So why did you post it first? It's not... If you didn't have words, it's because you didn't really understand it. In French, there's a saying, tout ce qui se conçoit bien s'énonce clairement, les mots pour le dire viennent aisément. Everything that's clearly conceivable is said clearly, the words to say them come easily. Right? So if you don't have the words to explain something, it's because you don't really understand it. Try to explain to me what God is with easy words. Do you know what I mean? Ce qui se conçoit bien s'énonce clairement, les mots pour le dire viennent aisément. What is easily conceived is easily said. The words to say this thing comes easily.
And so many people have been like, it's just not the right way to learn air roll, Luke. And now I can actually defend it because I've heavily studied this with Torment.
Wait, hold on. Are you referencing to your upright, downright tutorials?
And Shock. For those of you who don't know, who are one-on-one coaches here, who are private coaches here.
Jesus Christ.
Torment, former world champion. Shock, former North American MVP.
Yeah, so now he's giving credibility to his things, which I understand, right? But again, just because you're good at something, case in point, all of the tutorials made by pro players, just because you're great at something doesn't mean you understand it. And even if you understood it properly, doesn't mean that you can explain it well. So... to me, this credibility doesn't mean shit. Because if you watch Squishy Muffin's tutorial on how to air dribble and he tells you just press the up inputs of your joystick, that's a clear proof that that's a shit tutorial. So I understand you have the right to find to say credibility. It's important to defend your work. But if it's flawed from the beginning, then who cares? One thing you said that made a lot of sense to me was how doing clocks gives feedback, and that feedback allows you to understand how you need to adjust. Correct me if that's partly true. There's the fact that if you bind your feeling to a neutral revolution, then you will, when doing a clock, if you do a clock and you're out of tempo, you will feel it. so you will be able to readjust. And mostly doing feedback loops and clocks allows you to teach to learn about rhythm, which you will need for reverse clocks, which is the most important things in directional error. It's not the most important thing; it's the most useful thing.
Of Rocket League, respectively, and they basically confirmed this method is correct. And
yeah, so wait, you're telling me they work for you and you're the boss and they're allowed to say no to you? Is that what you're telling me, boss?
This is the method I'm going to...
Well, given all the history that we know from this guy and the people he've worked with, we might all know that if you work for him, you might not want to disagree with him. Otherwise, you're going to get fired.
Be teaching you guys today. Remember how I explained there are 8 different types of air roll? Recall that we have all these different adjustments. Up, right, up, left, up, right, down, left. You see all these?
Yeah, inputs on the joystick. We get you.
You see there are how many adjustments here? Count them.
8.
How many? Let me shout it out.
8?
Correct. 8. Why are there 8?
Because of the 8 directions.
No, so if you consider there are 8 inputs on the joystick, because you might not consider that. You can say there's 16. You can say there's 4. You know what I mean?
Because of the 8 directions. Think of it. You have north, northeast.
Yeah, we get it. We get it, bro.
Let's make this clicking. Northwest. You guys see why this is 8 directions?
Yeah.
Yep.
Dude, like, who are those people? Does he think they're totally retarded or what?
Boom, my wonderful drive. You guys now know why I'm not a video editor. I'm the coach guy. We have these 8 directions. Okay, so each of these adjustments that you see on the left side of my screen, look over here. Each of these animations corresponds to a different one. Let's just pull up some to have fun. Up and right.
Yeah. So as I said before, the circle is going to be tilted different directions. That's it. Why are we watching this?
Down and right. This is down and right.
Why are we watching this?
This is...
So this whole chapter was on the three starting positions. God damn.
Down and left. This is what it looks like. This is...
You know what? We're going to watch the other chapter, because after that he says practicing air roll, and I'm going to make another video on that. But this video is also going to contain the last... What is this? Oh my god, 8 minutes. That's so long, dude.
This is down. This is up and left.
Yeah.
You see, each of these animations are different.
So it's a circle. Well, the most important thing to me that you should understand is that if you let go of the circle at some point, of course, your nose is going to be pointing to that direction. And the point of exercise number 2, for instance, is to understand that if you hold it for 1 revolution, the nose is going to come back to its initial point. But those things, like, I don't know why you would take the meaningless time to do this. I mean, I understand it's nice to look at it, I agree. But, like, why are we wasting time talking about it? It's the same circle, but it's tilted.
Right? There are 8 unique animations if we think about them as just 8 adjustments, and then technically you have all the infinite combinations in between.
Yeah, it's funny. Holy shit, 22 minutes. I say that even before I start the method. I say a circle. We know that in mathematics there's an infinite amount of points in a circle, and we have, in order to put things into boxes, we have to say that there's not an infinite number. So let's choose 8 for my video, for instance.
Push your joystick here, or technically here.
Yeah.
And that's all in between here, right? There are many options in between there.
Okay.
But the idea that I'm trying to get across is not all of these adjustments are unique, and they all have different, let's call them animations and properties.
Okay.
But they're not all equally useful. So yes, they're all unique, but some
it's like
are more effective for ranked purposes.
Okay, I hate when it says that. For ranked purpose. Who gives a fuck about ranked? We don't care about ranked. It's not about ranked. It's about your precision on using the right ones at the right time, whether it's ranked or not. What the fuck? Why is he talking about ranked all the time? Who cares about ranked? Knowing one input more than another is not going to make you better at ranked. It's going to make you better at flying, which entails that it's going to make you better if you play games and ranked and casual. Right? But like, if he says there's none of them are all useful, then why be so precise with the 67.5%? Are you telling me that if you have a setup for an airable that's more horizontal, you will be more horizontal than 65%. Like if you do an air drag, for instance, right? If you do like a simple air drag, right? I'm not at 65% here, right? This is useful. Everything is useful if that's what you need. It's not about being useful. It's about being ready for the things that you need. What do you mean being useful? Being more useful. Everything is useful. It's like when people say, oh, this mechanic is not useful. Every mechanic is useful if it makes you score a goal. Yes, there are mechanics that are literally not useful in the sense that they don't really make you do anything. If you do a heli reset, well, what does a heli reset is going to make you do? Except maybe if there's one person that jumps between you and the ball. But every mechanic is useful at every rank if you are good enough to be consistent at them. If you score thanks to doing a mechanic, that means the mechanic is useful. So why is he talking about the fact that there's some inputs that are not as useful when he shows so arbitrarily 67.5 degrees like this? You're telling me that this is not useful? So if I'm going like this, and there's the ball here, well, if the ball was in front of me, of course, you're telling me that it's not useful to know how to fly like this? Isn't that useful to know how to fly like this? I'm not 67.5% like vertical here. Even that 67.45% vertical from what? 65% from what? From the neutral position, as you call it? It doesn't make... I don't really understand the point of doing this. And it's a bit contradicting when you say that there's some inputs that are not as useful. So you're telling me that there's one input, there's one direction that's more useful? Well, I'm guessing that depends on how your car is when you jump, right? Do you know what I mean? What if I wanted to go with him, I would say that in a context, you would want to be as consistent as possible. So when you do a setup, for instance, you want your setup to be as consistent as possible. And the more consistent you are for a setup, the more you're going to realize that to get a reset with left air roll, you're going to go left down or up left down, right? I go up left down or left down most of the time, right? If my setup is clean and consistent, right? If my setup is not clean and consistent, see, I went up left down here. If my setup is not clean and consistent, I'm probably not going to do something that resembles up and left. Up left down or left down. Does that mean that I shouldn't learn those things? No, I should just learn to control my car, whatever it's facing. Sorry, perfect position, yeah.
And so I'm going to skip ahead.
So what is this chapter? The most important air roll adjustment. Oh, so he's going to actually say that there's a few of those things that are more important than others. I think that's total bullshit. Imagine if you tried to swim and you tell someone, well, I think it's more important to learn how to swim straight and then to the left and forward. That's so arbitrary. What if I need to go down and left, like backward and left? It's like saying you're learning how to drive and the instructor tells you, well, there's certain angles of the car's wheels that are more important than others. And you're like, yeah, but what if there's this turn and this isn't every turn different? And he's like, yeah, but, this turn really happens more of the time because, a roundabout is about 67.5 degrees to the left or to the right, depending if you're driving on the right or the left side. And so usually when you turn your wheel about 87.9 degrees to the left, if you go at that specific speed, because if you go faster, then the angle is going to be different. You imagine how stupid that is, right? Every angle is important. You just have to learn. So he's trying to put things into boxes too much. Like the 67.5% angle. That's so arbitrary. There's 8 inputs on the joystick, right? So there's 8 inputs on the joystick. What do they all do? But when do they all do if we use them how? Well, if you just start using them at the beginning of the revolution of the car and you press boost, what can we notice? Well, if we start vertical, right? If we start vertical, the only reason I start vertical, by the way, is not to do like him, it's just so that we don't crash. If we start, let's say we just start with a bit of height. If I press up, what's going to happen? Okay, I turn to the right, okay. If I use up left, what happens? Well, I turn to the right, okay. If I use up right, what happens? I turn to the right. Okay, so why then you got to ask yourself, are those inputs, so all of those inputs may be turned to the right, but is there a more different, a subtle nuance? And then you realize, yes, if I start from up, left, or up, then the nose tends to go down. You can notice that because if you go from horizontal, if you press up left, you will go down. Your nose goes down. If you press up, your nose goes down. But if you press up right, oh, your nose goes up. So you all go to the right with up, left, up, and up, right. But up, left, and up make you go down and right, and this one makes you go up and right. Okay, and you do this for the whole joystick, and then you realize all of the inputs from upright to down make your nose go up, and all of the inputs from down left to up make your nose go down. And you're like, okay, so there's those inputs. They correlate to different families that sometimes go over themselves. You have inputs that make your nose go up, and inputs that make your nose go down. And within all of those inputs, some of them make you turn left and right, and some of them, like left and right, don't make you turn. Right? That's what you should teach people. Now, is he actually going to say there's some inputs that are more important?
Let you guys guess something. Of these 8 adjustments, how many do you guys think are ranked important? I want you to guess.
Oh my God, what does that mean, ranked important? There's no ranked important. There's what you need to do at a specific time. See, what he's doing right now is that he's trying to correlate things that have nothing in common. It's like if you're saying, I'm learning how to swim, which one of my movements when I'm swimming are more important when I swim in a competition? Or like when I play a water polo match? What does that mean? You're telling me that this gesture of my hand is more important when I play a ranked game, like a competition water polo match?
Numbers 0 through 8. How many of these adjustments are critical?
Let me say right now, what he's about to say, he made that up. There's no proof of that.
To be able to air
it's
roll
totally arbitrary.
Situation. 2, 2, 2, 3, 2.5. Oh no, that was previous questions. No, now I'm looking at this one. 4, 4, 4, 4, 6. 4. Seen a couple votes. 4, 5. There are exactly, in my opinion, this is where, you know, Zen knows everything, right? But for me, I think the critical mass where you can really, really own and rank.
I think he's going to say 4. He's going to say up, down, left, right.
Like, these are the 20% of adjustments that give you 80% of the results.
Do you guys want to guess? I think he's going to say up, down, left, right. But then again, he's made so many videos about up, right, down, right that maybe he's going to say up, right, down, right.
Chaotic, you were correct. There are 3 of them.
3
of them.
So 3 inputs out of 8 are more important to win ranked games. Okay? Please remember that, guys. That's important for you.
3 out of the 8 that I think are critical. And I'm going to explain why those are critical.
Can I make a guess as to which 3 they are?
On arrow left, go for it.
But basically, joystick right with arrow left, joystick left with arrow left, and joystick down with arrow left.
So left, right,
close.
down.
You got one of them. Okay. This is not necessarily...
the other guy has no clue what the fuck is happening. Nobody knows what's going into SpookLuke's mind right now. Like, we're all trying to guess what the fuck is he about to say.
Necessarily intuitive, but I'm going to try to show you guys why. So, there are 3 adjustments that are...
Again, he's talking about adjustments as though... I hate the fact micro adjustments. In reality, when we use air roll, we use mostly, I would say, we use continuous adjustments most of the time, right? Because we have to change the car's position vertically and horizontally at the same time with a certain kind of angle, which is by doing reverse clocks. The way he talks about air roll right now is that he's saying that those 1 inputs, first of all, we don't know when to do them then, apparently, but those 8 inputs are a magical thing to do in order to turn a certain direction.
That are most important. But the foundation of air roll that you guys need to understand, there's one adjustment that reigns supreme. So, like I just said, there are many adjustments you can use, but there's one that reigns supreme. Anybody want to guess what the one most important is? It's the only one
I
that
have
has a
no
name.
clue, dude.
Tornado spin.
Tornado
Tornado.
spin. Tornado spin.
What the fuck? And me, I say that the tornado spin is literally useless. I call it my safe input. Like when I do an air roll, like an air dribble, I use the tornado spin first input because I know that my nose is gonna go up and I'm gonna go straight from this input. right? So I'll literally say the opposite of what he's saying. Tornado spin, the only reason people remember that is because we coined it, and it sounded better than the Kuxer spins, which is basically up and down. But the tornado spin in itself, it's useless. It makes you go straight from the point you're going already. Unless you're literally doing this like him, unless you're doing this in a rank game like he is, and you press, and you're vertical, and then you press it, and then you go backwards. What the fuck are we talking about? This guy has no clue. Like he's observed. So here's the thing. This guy has observed a few things, and he's trying to make conclusions about those observations instead of keep observing a bit deeper and trying to find better, suitable, constant boxes in order to put those observations in.
Is the most commonly used error roll adjustment.
Yeah. Why is this the most commonly used error roll adjustment? First of all, that's not true. But secondly, if that was true, why would we do that? Because it makes us go straight. Hence, it's a safe input. Because when you press it, you know you're going to go straight from that point on. Which is not even the case when you do like an air dribble. Unless I'm like being perfectly like straight. Well, okay, I did a reset, so that's fucked up. I did it out of muscle memory, but if I just do an air dribble, did I use right more? That was not a perfect air dribble, but did I use right more than anything else? Imagine if I was a robot, and if I went very straight, then yeah, that would be the adjustment I would use because I'm just going straight. That's why if we used it more, so if we said that air roll is about short inputs, like one input per revolution, if you're going straight from your ball to the goal, and you want to press an input that makes you go straight, you will press this input. Like you know what I mean? That's why. You know why pros maybe use more of tornado spin than, I don't know, you or me? You know why? Because they're pros. What does that mean? That means that when they jump, they're already going the right position from the takeoff. They're already going straight to the goal. Do you ever see a pro player who jumps like this? Do you ever see a pro player do this? Even I don't do this. Do you see anyone do this and then turn to the right? Well, I fucked it up. But like, let me do that again. Do you see any pro player when they play in a game they do this? And then they go to the right. Do you see them do that? No. You know why? Because they're pros. So everything is optimized. So when they see that, they're already gonna as they jump, they're already taking the right position in order to go as straight as they can towards the goal. Because that also means less boost and less adjustments.
And I'm gonna explain to you guys why.
Yeah, tell me why.
Using our starting positions. So hang with me. Tornado spin is on air roll left, pushing your joystick to the right, and on air roll right, pushing your joystick to the left. In other words, tornado spin is pushing your joystick opposite the direction you are air rolling. Let's do all of these illustrations with air roll left. I'm going to be air roll lefting because this is what I'm most comfortable with. Now, we can understand how tornado spin works by observing it from the three starting positions. What were our three starting positions?
Again, that's just gonna mess you up because then the direction the direction that your car takes is not going to be the same.
Not today. Shout them out.
Ground, vertically flying, and the neutral one.
And the neutral one, correct. Ground, flying, and neutral. The reason tornado spin is the most popular adjustment, and it'll probably make more sense if I show you guys from a side-on view.
Again, the reason it's the most popular adjustment is because there's a name for it. And because there's a name for it, people remember it, and they actually think that it's useful. When I started learning how to air roll, I called air roll tornado spin because I actually thought that was what it was called. I didn't understand it was an specific input. So the only reason people talk about this a lot is because it has a name for it, which is kind of makes me smile because some people trashed on me because I made the terminology. But then again, we all use things because they have a name for them. If there was no name for tornado spin, I guarantee you nobody would talk about it. If there was a name for tornado spin going up, coxer spin, right? Then people would talk about coxer spin and not tornado spin. The reason I'm guessing that coxer spin kind of is less kind of flashy than tornado spin
is because for the first half of a tornado spin, your nose lifts.
Okay,
because
wow.
You're pushing your
holy shit. 25 minutes, guys.
Your joystick opposite the direction you're air rolling, your nose lifts immediately. This is the...
So, again, that's what I did, 5 to 10 minutes ago. He should have taken every single input and noticed, hey, this one makes me turn left, this one also, this one also. What's the difference between all of those 3 ones? Then he would have noticed... this one makes my nose go down, this one also, this one also. That's why I did on my method with... You remember when I said there's a circle around the ball? Imagine there's a circle around the ball. And we start pressing the inputs at the beginning of the revolution, and we try to see where the nose goes.
The adjustment where you get this much lifting.
Hey, Jeremy, how you doing?
You get lifting action from other adjustments, but this one sort of gives you the most, the fastest. Right here, your nose immediately starts lifting.
No, so you can also do that. You can also do that. So this goes up, okay, but this also goes up, right? This also goes up. You know, this goes up. Well, I guess less, but because I'm being horizontal. But what about this one then? What about this one? Doesn't this make me go up also? Like, what do you mean? What?
These all give you some lift, but
okay.
tornado spin gets you this nice.
Okay. Well, so he says it. My bad. Okay.
This nice lift right here. Now, from the grounded position, our nose comes up. Useful, yes.
This is not how you start an air dribble, though. Well, I mean, you can. Yes, you can. You can start depending on the speed you take, because if you have too much speed and you start like a grand to air dribble, if I have too much speed and I just do tornado spin, then I'm going to go over the ball. That's why in order to control both the horizontality and the verticality, you will use reverse clocks. Now, starting a reverse clock with right, you have to, if you don't do it at the right rhythm, you will turn to the right. If you do it at the right rhythm, If you do it at the right rhythm, you will go, At the right rhythm, you will go up. Right? But if you, how should I put this? If the speed at which you hit the ball makes the ball have less horizontal speed than you, then if you just press tornado spin, you will not have time. So you're going beyond the ball. Whereas if you use a reverse clock, you can already, as the ball goes up, you can check the verticality of it. You can change the verticality of your car. But again, he's just talking about short inputs. So I don't know if he's going to talk about that in his coming video, but directional air roll is not just about short inputs. Most of the time, it's about continuous inputs, like I just did here, which I call reverse clocks, or people can call them whatever they want to call them. Do you understand?
Groundbreaking for flying purposes, no. This is really useful for tornado spin takeoffs, which looks something like this. On air dribbles.
So again, if he had more horizontal speed, and if the ball was, let's say, if he was more in front of the ball, he would go beyond the ball. So right now what he's doing is what some people do when they do tutorials, that they try to show something that they think is true, but they just do it at the right spot. That's like when Squishy Muffins makes a video about air dribbles, and he says, well, only make air dribbles by using the top portion of your joystick. The reason he manages to do it like that is because he's focusing on doing it like that to show you. But when you watch him on stream and he does an air dribble, he doesn't keep the joystick up. So he's just trying to prove a point. How should I put this? He's trying to show something specific, but he's trying to claim that it's something very general.
I expect a little bit. Show you one more.
See? So now he's trying to find the right speed and the right position on the ball in the car. so that when he jumps, he has the right amount of speed to keep the tornado and go up and touch the ball also.
You get this like kind of cool popping action.
Yeah, well, should I go? Okay. Tornado spin to start it off. Hopla, reverse clock. You know what I mean? So yeah, you should say when you want to start your air dribble, at the very beginning of when the revolution hits, you can put your nose up a little bit by doing this. Right? We can say you can say that, right? You can say at the very beginning of it, depending on the speed I have, my nose is going to go up, but then I'm going to have to readjust, obviously, which he doesn't talk about, but yet he talks about 8 different, what do you call it? 8 different inputs, whatnot. Do you know what I mean? Or you can do a reverse clock, which is literally the same. That was a reverse clock, by the way, in order to get vertical instantly. So instead of waiting for your nose to go up like this, right? Instead of waiting for your nose to go up like this, you can instantly put it up by doing a reverse clock. You see that? How straight my... Literally, so... That's so stupid, dude. He's telling you to do this circle, this tornado spin, in order to wait for your nose to get up. And I literally put my nose up, as though I was not touching my air roll. I literally did this while pressing air roll. He's doing this. Like he's waiting for the nose to go up. I'm literally doing this, putting it up with air roll. Qui fait ça ferait même, il rend fou. Heureusement que je regarde des pros et pas lui pour m'inspirer. Ouais, faut pas non plus regarder les pros. Enfin, en tout cas, faut pas écouter tout le temps ce qu'ils disent. Hein. Parce que parfois, ils disent vraiment de la merde, les pros. Parce qu'ils sont pros, ne veut pas dire qu'ils sont les meilleurs pour analyser ce qu'ils font et ni pour enseigner, tu vois. Malheureusement, j'aimerais bien que ce soit vrai, mais regarde, K-Dub, je l'adore. Hein. K-Dub, c'est un des seuls avec Razmeltor et Fury que je regarde. Et Gaspo, tu vois. Je regarde sur 4 personnes en France. Je regarde K-Dub, Razmeltor, Gaspo et Fury. Et K-Dub, voilà, il est excellent au jeu, je l'adore et tout. Et je l'adore comme type, il est trop cool, je l'adore. Mais il fait des tutos de merde. Quand tu regardes son tuto de Infinite Dash, c'est de la merde. Infinite Dash, c'est rien d'autre qu'un side flip. Hein. C'est tout, tu vois. Donc, faut faire attention. Il y a des gens qui sont des pro players, comme K-Dub, qui sont pas bons en tutoriel. Il y a des gens comme Razmeltor qui sont pas des pro players, mais qui sont vraiment des vrais enseignants et qui, en plus, ont de la connaissance théorique derrière, qui vont te dire des vrais trucs, tu vois. Faut faire gaffe. C'est pas pour cracher sur K-Dub, hein. J'adore K-Dub. Hein. Mais, objectivement parlant, il fait pas des bons tutoriels. En tout cas, pas tous.
You get this like kind of cool popping action with your takeoff.
Yeah, okay, so you get a popping action, okay.
But like kind of cool popping action with your takeoff. But
okay, so he's down right already. He's not going right.
Aside from making our take,
can we all agree on that?
With your takeoff.
Watch this. You ready?
But
what is this input? You can already tell by the way the car is going. That's down right. Right? Casually swap for me. Yeah, sorry about that. Again, so he's not doing a tornado spin right now. He's doing a coxer spin per se. He's doing between a tornado spin and a coxer spin. So he's going down right.
But
and if we look more closely,
like kind of cool popping action with your takeoff. But aside,
so it's a down right into reverse clock.
From making our takeoffs look cool, that's really the application of tornado spins on the ground.
Yeah. So see, when he doesn't focus on doing it, he doesn't do it. That's what I mean. There's a video of SpookLuke of a guy trashing on SpookLuke, and the guy. SpookLuke says, I want to use the right part of your joystick. And while he says that, the guy like zooms in into what SpookLuke is doing, and SpookLuke is literally on the left side.
Also use them for tornado spin flicks. And crossbar tornado spin flicks.
Yeah, okay.
And crossbar it, but we'll come back. We'll come back to this. Now, from the flying position, we actually already know what.
So okay, so again, if you do like, how should I put this? If you dribble the ball and you manage to be very center with it, why would you use another input than the one that doesn't make you turn? But he doesn't say that it doesn't make you turn. He just says that it makes you go up the most. Which he should actually, by saying that, he should realize, well, if it makes me go up the most, it's because it makes me turn horizontally the least. You know what I mean?
Tornado spin does. Does anybody remember what happened when I tornado spin, push my joystick to the right here and use arrow left? Anybody remember?
Yeah, it goes backwards.
It sends you backwards.
Sends me backwards, correct.
What do you think of Curve Pert? I think Curve Pert is part of the second tier of tutorial that doesn't make you. He doesn't give tutorials. He gives training plans. He gives drills, but he says nothing about air roll. He gives you drills to do that you could actually also figure out by yourself, because it's just about being creative and playing maps. But he doesn't really say anything about air roll. So to me, he's part. I'm gonna make a video about that. He's part of the second tier of tutorials. The second tier of the first tier is the one who say up, right, down, right when the hood is facing you. The second tier is the ones who give training plans and drills, and the third tier is the cunning one, like Reflicious, and what he's doing now, where they make you think they're saying substantial things when they're not.
And now here's kind of the final the crux of my entire video. So pay attention closely.
Okay,
I'm scared. The reason I define the neutral position as the position you're flying, 67.5 degrees of tilt.
Yeah.
Is because if you start tornado spinning from the neutral position, slight tilt forward,
you will go up.
This was not the best illustration.
Yeah, yeah.
Let me
yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's trying to. Oh my god.
Again.
He's trying to get the perfect thing.
What is happening?
So now he's feathering boost now.
Can anybody explain what's happening with my car?
So as soon as you feather boost, you're killing the constant of your explanation.
Right now?
Still.
I'm staying perfectly still. In other words,
what the fuck is he saying? So you're just talking about horizontal speed, basically, right? You know what I mean? Like 30 minutes for this, yeah. So he just say 30 minutes to say that if you tilt the nose up, you will go in front of you. If you tilt the nose vertical, you will go backwards, and if you go backwards, you will also go backwards, right? And then if you hold it at there's just the right amount, you will stand perfectly still. So he shouldn't. First of all, he shouldn't say you stand perfectly still, because he's feathering the boost. So in reality, he should say what I said twice or 3 times already before, that he goes up. If you go to the right thing and you do this, you will, like, if you do the 67.5 thing, right, and you start boosting, you will go up. Right, so I had a horizontal speed here, but if I started here, maybe I'm going to go up more. So that was not the right angle. I'm sorry. Okay, let's try this one. That's better. So now I'm going almost vertically up. This is random bullshit. Who cares about that? How about you teach people how to raise their nose up, how to turn it to the sides, so that they can just manage how much verticality they want. So I'm thinking now, if you want to go up, why not just do either a fast aerial or just a reverse clock in order to go up also, like, pretty fast, you know, vertically. Now he's just saying if you hold it. So again, see, that's how I see his teachings is not really good, because he's not saying he's going full. So he's saying if you do this tornado spin at the right angle, you will stay in position. No, well, you stay in position because you're feathering boost. How about you show some continuity? Because all along you've been doing things in full boost. So just show in full boost. If you do this at a specific angle, you will go vertically up as straight as you can. Right? So if I do this without horizontal, so I have to do this without horizontal speed and have the perfect angle, but that was pretty good. See? If I have the right angle with no horizontal speed and I use tornado spin, I'm going to go full up, as I said before. And if I just tilt it a little bit more, then I'm going to go forward. Right? But how is this interesting? What the fuck? People are actually going to think that if they want to stand up, because now you're not showing how to change verticality, are you? This is the pinnacle of his video? You got to be shitting me.
My car is rotating around the y-axis, meaning when my car is facing left, my nose is left. When my car is facing forward, my nose is slightly tilted forward. Basically, tornado spinning from the neutral position is a built-in brake and gas pedal. Is this making sense?
No, so, oh my God, you gotta be shitting me. So, yes, at this specific angle, as soon as you change the angle, so he's saying something very general based on something very specific. That's my problem with this guy right now. He's saying if you keep tornado spin at this angle, well, he didn't say that. What did he actually say?
Tilted forward. Basically, tornado spinning from the neutral position is a built-in brake and gas pedal.
Yeah, okay. So that's because you're feathering boost. Okay? And that's because tornado spin doesn't make you turn left and right. It just makes you go straight. Do you understand? You have to add this to your equation. You have to add this to your equation. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? You have to... He didn't say why... He just said that it makes your nose go up. But he didn't say it's because... You know, I'm the only one who said in his video, why does the car turn when I press up and down, and why doesn't it turn when I go left and right? It's because when you press up and down, that's the information he's lacking right now. When you press up and down, the axis around which your car is gonna rotate is going to be cut into a different axis. Here, my right front wheel and my left back wheel are locked. Right. So when I boost, because the thing is, it's not straight anymore. It's to the side. Well, my car moves to the side. When I press down, it's going to be my up left wheel and my down right wheel that is going to be locked. So the first time I make the input and the boost, my car is, because the angle is tilted, my car is going to be tilted in its direction. But when you do when you do tornado spin and reverse tornado spin, left and right and left arrow, nothing, like zero wheels are locked. And because zero wheels are locked, you're going straight. You're not taking a direction. Do you understand? That's what he should have said. So he's making observations. He's correlating them very quickly. But he's not getting to the depth of it because he's lacking some... I think he's lacking some axis of observation, per se.
Is this making sense? You see how my nose is always facing the middle of the screen? And so my car stays perfectly still when I use a tornado spin from neutral. Now, if I start my tornado spin when my car is perfectly vertical, I'm flying backwards.
Yeah, because that's the first vector that your car takes. The first direction, the first force of trajectory that your car takes. And it has to do with your boost and where your nose is pointing.
But if I start my tornado spin with that slight forward tilt...
How is this going to help them in rank, though?
It hovers perfectly around the y-axis. By the way, if you guys can make it to this point in the video and not have questions, you are already ahead of 90% of Rocket League players. Because 90% of Rocket League players don't understand the 8 corners method. They know that tornado spins are important, but they don't know why. And they...
So the 8 corners methods, I agree with it. It's just I don't agree with the fact that you're doing it from a vertical point of view. You know what I mean? It's like when you talk about the inputs on the joystick, you have to take into account the verticality and the horizontality that the car takes when you start pressing the inputs. And you're going to realize that some inputs overlap themselves as to verticality and horizontality. Do you understand? All of the up inputs make you go to the right, but only up, left, and up are going to make you go right and down. All of the inputs from down are gonna down left, down right are gonna make you go left, but the down right input and the down input are the only ones that are gonna put your nose up. So the horizontality and the verticality of the inputs overlap each other, And when you think about it this way, you don't care about what kind of verticality your car has. So what this guy tried to do is he tried to be different from anyone else. He tried to be different from what he did before, upright and downright, when the hood is facing you. He tried to be different from Grifflicious when Grifflicious says something very obvious, which is to learn what each input does at each angle of the revolution. And he's trying to sound different by, instead of looking at the right thing, he's now talking about the different stages of verticality that your car takes. But all of those things make you learn a shit ton of inputs for no reason. When you understand what the inputs do and how they interact with each other, with the horizontality and with the verticality and with each other by doing feedback loops or reverse clocks, then you can have a clearer view of how everything works. So he's choosing the wrong, he's making observations that are correct, but he's making general conclusions about very specific observations. And that's not cool. That's not right. It's not that he's incorrect, it's that he's a bit incorrect because he's incorrect in the sense that he's incomplete. And he's incomplete because he's not looking at what he should be looking. Do you understand? That's coming to the... So, you know what? Fuck it. So everything is a tree, right? Everything is a tree. So you have the trunk and you have the branches. And then you have the little leaves. Right? What I did is that I looked at everything and I looked deeply and I proved myself wrong so much that little by little I came to the trunk of the tree, or the roots if you want. What he's doing is that he's looking at this branch, at this leaf, and then he's looking at this branch as he's making his whole trunk about those things. Instead of keep searching, because he's almost there, right? Keep searching, and you're gonna get to the trunk of the tree, which is the need of a constant as the neutral revolution. The analysis of what the inputs do at neutral revolution when you use them as short inputs by themselves, and then what the inputs do when you chain them together in two different directions, clockwise and counterclockwise. Nice drawing. Thank you, man. So what he's doing now is that he's making an observation here, another here. He's looking at the branch here, and he's making his whole basis of argumentation around this thing. And this is why it's incomplete / incorrect. Because now he's making false correlations. He's saying that this is the trunk. But this is not the trunk. This is the trunk. So he's basing his conclusions on specific observations that don't take into account other things that are between them and overlap each other and go a bit deeper. And I went through this. I went through what he said, but I chose to disregard it because how is teaching people how to fly neutral and 67.5 degree and horizontal, how is this going to teach them how to fly? Tell them how the input works, how they work with each other, how they overlap their verticality and horizontality, you know? Was SpookLuke video valid? No. What did you expect? For him to be right once in his life? No. No, it was not.
For sure don't know what the reference positions are. They think it's just a feel thing, which is bullshit. It's not just a feel thing. When pro players say, it's just a feel thing, what they really mean is, I know that there are 8 different movements on my joystick.
No, they don't know that. They've learned by empiricism. They have good muscle memory. They have probably some talent in the game, right? But they don't know specifically what they're doing.
And I know that
it's like when you learn how to bake a cake by yourself, that doesn't mean that you have a chemistry degree to the point that you understand how the ingredients work with one another.
There are so many different car positions, notably 3. But, you know, there's also when my car looks like this, and there's also when my car looks like this, and there's also when my car looks like this.
And now he's talking about other angles of the revolution.
And there's also when my car looks like this.
So he said 4 angles of the revolution. So if we take how do you call them? The 8 corners methods. So 8 things to learn by heart 8 things. Times 3 for 3 starting positions. That's 24. Times 4. 24 times 4, 4 4, 16, 2 4, 8, 9, 10, ça fait, that's 106 or 116, I can't count. So what he's saying right now.
And so what pros really mean when they say it's just a feel thing is I've mapped in my brain these 8 different adjustments and what they do from all these different car positions.
No, not necessarily. It must be true at some point that pro players know more inputs in between the revolutions than I do. I know a few of them without even knowing what they are specifically. I learned them by empiricism because I was focused on the neutral revolution. But they don't know them. They probably don't know all of them. Not all pro players, not all of the inputs. And again, he's talking, his whole talking, everything he's saying is from the fact that every input you're making on the joystick is independent from the other. That's why they call micro adjustments. But in reality, directional air roll is not about small adjustments. It's about general patterns of continuous inputs. Right? But he's talking like everybody, like 99% of the people on YouTube, he's taking directional air roll. He's considering directional air roll as though it was all about smaller, like independent adjustments, which is not true.
Car might reach. And so when I want to take my car from facing left to facing back up, I know the shortcut to do it. When I'm flying forward and I want to take a harsh turn to the right, I do this. But what they're not...
Notice what he does, though? That's pretty funny.
Right, I do this to do it. When I'm flying forward and I want to take a harsh turn to the right...
So he goes up to turn right. Then he goes down. Then he goes down, right? Then he goes up again. Then he goes down. So the first input was directional. The rest of them were feedback loops. He didn't do them properly. He did them at the wrong time. But essentially, they were feedback loops. Because he's going up, down, right?
Flying forward, and I want
but the way he does those things is not supposed to change the position of the car.
Turn to the right, I do.
So now he presses down, right? So now he presses down, so he should go down to the right, like there.
Do this.
Now he presses up, so he's going the same way. If he presses up right now, he's going to go down to the right. Now he's pressing right, down, right, so he's going down to the right. So all of those adjustments, except for the first one on neutral revolution, those adjustments were not directional adjustments. Because he was doing the opposite input at every half revolution, which means he was having the same result. How do I call that? Feedback loop, feedback loop. Okay?
But what they're not saying is everything they're doing has predictable movements. And so it's not just a feel thing. It's just they've...
Can we stop about the feel thing? Not everybody is talking about the feel thing. There's just a few tutorials that tell you that it's a feel thing. He's basing his whole defense on the fact that people say it's a feel thing. There's not a lot of tutorials that say it's a feel thing.
So they've made so many of these conscious patterns, or they've mapped so many of these positions consciously, one at a time, that now they are unconscious. And in their brain, they have...
So, yes and no. Muscle memory is built through repetition. That doesn't mean that they've learned every angle of the revolution of the car. Because notice what he just did when he went up, down, up, right, down, right. Did you notice? He did up, right, down, right, which are two opposite inputs, and he did them at each half of the revolution of the car. He did not do the other inputs that he could have done in between those angles of the revolution.
256 or 512 or 1028 of these different positions all mapped in their brain. And so when you watch them do rings, they're flicking their joystick up, left, down, right, left, down, middle, you know. But it's not just a feel thing. Now I'm going to give you guys the practical steps on how you can sort of...
Okay, so we're done with the video because now he's going to talk about practicing. I just want to come back to something.
Mapped in 512 or 1028 of these different positions, all mapped in their brain. And so when you watch them do rings, they're flicking...
What is this? What is he doing right now?
Their joystick up, left, down. all mapped in their brain. And so when you watch them do rings, they're flicking their
and right. It's a double reverse clock, bro. If you watch closely, watch this.
all
You ready?
mapped in their brain.
You ready?
And so when you watch them do
Watch this. He's starting now. So, like, let's say 50 to 75%. He's going to the right now.
rings,
No, okay, right now. As soon as he starts moving his joystick, we're going to count it. So, he's facing his neutral position.
There.
He's already to the... He's made one circle and he's half position. Right?
flicking their joystick.
So, that was like a what was it? Like a two and a half double reverse clock or something like that.
200 all mapped in their brain. And so when you watch them do rings, they're different positions.
Let me just be precise
all
with this.
mapped in their brain. And so when you watch them do rings,
Ah, shit.
consciously, one at a time, that now they are unconscious. And in their brain, they have 256 or 512.
We're going to be at the end of the video, guys.
28 of these different positions, all mapped in their brain. And so when you watch
Okay, you ready?
do rings,
Okay, we started from the right. So from the right, now we're already up.
they're
That's one revolution. I mean, that's one reverse clock. Almost half revolution. So now we're 1.5 reverse clock on half revolution.
flicking
Then he kind of stops it.
their
So he was doing 1.5 reverse clock on a half revolution. So we're about at more like faster than a double reverse clock. Okay. Oh shit. What did I do? No. Okay, guys. That's gonna be the end of. I don't know if I'm gonna do the other. I don't know if I'm gonna do the other. Another part for the practice, how to practice it, because I don't really care about how to practice it. You can practice it for yourself. That was it for this video. So again, I thought I was going to be disappointed, but at the same time I was excited. Of course, I was disappointed, and more than that, I was flabbergasted, because every time this guy, he's so inspiring in a way, because when you think he cannot go lower, he looks at you straight in the eye and he's like, yeah, I'm going lower than that. And so he goes lower. I thought he would like say some things that I would maybe agree with. I cannot agree with anything he's saying. Anything. I think if you listen to this shit, you're gonna learn 8 times 3 times 4. You do the math of different things, and I think that's a stupid way to learn. He has the audacity to say that other people are not good teachers when he himself has done terrible videos on Airroll before that, and now he manages to be even worse than he used to be. Because when he said the upright downright when the hood is facing you, when he said don't ever press the left input when he himself does it, he was still on the basics, right? But here, this is supposed to look like an advanced kind of video, right? And yet, everything he talks about, he's wrong about what he's doing. He's making observations. He's making generalizations based on very specific observations. And on top of that, he's still thinking that directional arrow is about small adjustments, when he himself does reverse clocks and whatnot, right? We even just saw him do like a feedback loop for no reason at all, right? So, yeah, I don't really know what to say. That was interesting, but yeah, if you're new to Rocket League, if you're new to SpookLuke, you've been warned. You should make research before you follow this random guy, like randomly, because there's a reason people don't like him in the community. And this video that I just made about his video is literally the definition of why we dislike him. And if you spent money on this guy, I feel bad for you. You should actually maybe, I don't know. How about all of the people do something about that, you know? So yeah, thanks for watching. I know this was extremely long and I'm rambling right now, but I guess this was a bit necessary. I hope I was not too mean. I was just a bit flabbergasted sometimes about the audacity that he had about, you know, saying things, and the fact that he was really, again, misinforming a lot of people while trying to sound like he was helping them from the the depth of his pure heart. That really annoys me. So thank you for watching. Sorry if this was too long, and I will see you later. Okay? Take care. Bye-bye.